Welcome once again to White Belt Angular. This is Captain YubTub, your host and guide on this excursion into Angular excellence. In our last video, we set up a channel controller that basically took a look at where the code was running to determine a few factors, and all we really did was display where we're running. So that allows us to run the code on our public facing server or on our SharePoint server or on our testing server, and it could see where it was running. Tonight we're going to sort of put that into play. We're going to implement that in what's called a module. You can find plenty of videos on what a Angular module is, but I'm just going to show you real quick how to create one and basically how to use it. So the first thing we're going to do is run the code ng generate module, and it's going to go into a directory called modules, and the module is going to be called channel, so it's going to be modules channel module. Generating a module is fairly simple. It doesn't take a long time, although it is taking a long time. So we're going to create a new window, and we are going to serve up our project so we can at least see that it's running, which that should have been the first thing we did. Alright, it's compiling. And we wait. It looks like it's doing something, so let's take a look here. So it looks like we did create that module, so let's check the app modules channel module. So the first thing we need to do to make sure we can actually use these modules, and here we can see that the page actually does display. The first thing we're going to do is import it into our app modules. So if I say app modules, we're going to say it imports. And note that when we do that, it automatically does the import call here. So I want to display this, and I'm not going to do the channel module for display on the navigation page, but I'm going to display it here just for for our use. But the first thing we need to do is define what's going to be in the channel module. So if you look at the old code in our navigation component, you'll see here where I've got this method called getChannel. I've made a few changes to it, but ultimately it's the same. I'm going to go to the channel module, and in that class I'm going to paste my modified method. And as you can see here, it's got get channel, current channel and channels. So those are two variables that it's looking for that we need to add. So channels is just the options, the various channels that it could be. We got the local host, the public site, the intranet, and if we don't have a channel registered for it, then it's unregistered. So you can see that those work. And we're going to add a constructor. I don't think it makes a difference, but I think I like leaving my constructors at the top, just so they're kind of the first thing you see. I don't know if that creates any performance issues or not. But so here we set our channel. which that's probably doesn't need to be done here because we're actually returning the channel, but we'll leave it, save it, run it, and you can see that it works. It still works. So I want to display the channel just to be sure that that module is working. So I'm going to do it here instead of home. It's going to say whatever the local channel is. So I'm going to go back to my navigation component, and I need to bring in that channel module. So it's going to be and you can see here that since I added it correctly, it imports it correctly. So now that that channel module is there, I can actually make use of it. So to make use of it, I'm going to create a variable called current channel. So that's going to go right up here in my little declaration setting, declarations area. And I will just set the current channel down here in the constructor. So I called it object channel module, but it should be just channel module to match up with what we're calling it here as we declare it. So it looks like I don't have any errors. I'm going to go first I'll put that on one side, put that on one side, and I'm going to go save it, and it fails to compile. So what are we doing wrong? This current channel. So let's look at the navigation. First, let's take a step back. Let's see if taking this out does anything. Alright, so if I take out that setting, it seems to work. Set channel. Got current channel. This is where I want it to display, so let's go ahead and put that there. Okay, so you can see here it says loading on the current channel, and that's because right here when I set it up, I set it up to say loading, and I change it, and so it's loading. But then when I try to set it, something is happening. So channel module, set channel. Alright, so I think that may have been an error. Not really an error, but I noticed that sometimes these files will take a little while to save, and that will cause an error on the page. I'm not really sure where that comes from, but as you can see here, it's saying localhost. You can see here the difference of capitalization, that this is obviously not coming from this, but this is coming from, this localhost is coming from channel module, where I say if the current node is localhost, and notice that we shove it the address to lowercase when we first get started. So if we say it's localhost, then we're going to say it's this channel's localhost, and of course this channel's localhost is here. I'm aware of something called an enum or something like that can do this in a slightly cleaner fashion. I will certainly look into that and make use of it moving forward. That's all I've got for you right now. Thanks, and have a great night.